So thank God it's yet another Friday. It's the 14th day of the month of April. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Again, this is how we're getting Friday started, kicking off into the weekend. First, a very quick review of our market today. For Thursday, across various jurisdictions, the Nigerian market down by 0.02%. We saw a sell down in a number of banking sector names and outside the banking space as well. Transcorp shares remain to be highly traded on the news that we got earlier in the week that Nigeria's investor and billionaire businessman Femi Otedola bought up to 5.52% to become the single largest shareholder in the indigenous conglomerate, with business interests in hospitality and leisure, oil and gas, as well as electricity, and a few other business interests in between. The PRVM down by 0.1% on Thursday. The G-share market closed the week very strongly, 5.55%. The whole concerns about those who are hedging and the concerns about further devaluation of the Egyptian currency just to meet the conditions of the IMF is revving up activities on the stock market. The EGX30 heading very closer to 18,000 level when the markets finished off Thursday. Then the Nairobi stock market continued that decline just today. Couple of names were in the negative 111.9%, while the GSE went up with the rest of the developed markets Thursday. Very strong appetite across major indices in the US, in Europe as well. So the South African market were very strong correlation with the emerging markets, and developed markets went up roughly 1%. The resources led the day. The rand also got better, around 18 to the dollar, up by roughly 1.9%. The rand also went up against the euro as well as the British pound. So the GSE, you can see down there, 78,462 Thursday. Let's get on to see what's making the headlines across the East African economies, markets, investment, finance, and business, as the International Monetary Fund is forecasting Kenya's growth to be 5.3% in this year against 5.1% that was in October of 2022. And the investment management firm Kuramo Capital is taking about 24% stake in TransCentury because of for a debt deal between the two companies. TransCentury has been trying to sell bonds that has not really been successful. Now, Kuramo Capital is taking about 24% stake in the company itself as part of the transaction. Tanzania's investment jumped 52.4% to reach about 2.8 trillion shillings in the first quarter, January to March 2023, while the CRDB Bank of Tanzania says his profit went up a roaring 875% over a 5-year period, 2018 to 2022. That's a backward-looking data, but gives you an idea of what the past 5 years been for this commercial bank listed on the Tanzanian Stock Exchange. Let's get on to see the West African and Nigeria's business headlines. Of course, quite a bit of the headlines coming through from Nigeria relates to the forecast of the state of the country's economy moving into the 2023-2024 period, and the whole outlook and concerns about how the new administration will move on. So the IMF wants Nigeria to increase tax, get more tax in, solve the government's revenue problem, and cut the borrowing payment of matured bonds. We'll see how much of this could be put in place before the new administration takes office on May the 29th. The International Monetary Fund has trimmed Ghana's growth rate to 1.6% for this year, while Burkina Faso's treasury says about 33 billion CFA francs worth of bills and bonds were sold in the current week, while Cameroon is looking to raise about 220 billion CFA franc on the CEMAC market. That's the Central African market, which are DR Congo, Angola, and a couple of other countries. And the NSIA Bank, which is listed on the BRVM, says its profit went up 37% for the full year 2022. We still got it earnings, by the way, across a number of jurisdictions on the continent. With that in mind, let's step straight into the Southern African market. Namibia, the deposit insurance guarantor, says it's released its third annual report for the full year 2022. The Namibian Central Bank itself released its full year financial statements just about 2 weeks ago. And Heineken is getting its bearings right, looking to invest about additional 15 billion rand in South Africa's beer and beverages sector, while Old Mutual in Zimbabwe is focusing on long long-term sustainability. That's according to news out this week. While the problem with electricity in South Africa is yet to go away. Load shedding is now at level 6 according to ESCOM and will continue indefinitely because more units at its power stations are breaking down. So what does Sasol do? That's energy giant is looking into power its operations on gas and hydrogen. So let's talk to the North African markets. The IMF and then the World Bank says they're interested in talking to Tunisia and see how President Said will get out of the political and economic quagmire that the North African countries currently is and try to get financial support from the Bretton Woods institutions. President Said last week says the country will look inward and decide not to go ahead with the conditions put in place by the IMF and the World Bank. The spring meetings ongoing in Washington says they're working with Tunisian authorities to see what could be done. However, the IMF is expecting Egypt's economy to grow about 3.7% in 2022-23 period and about 5%, which is a bit bigger in the 23-24 period. The OCP group, that Morocco's industrial giant and international finance corporations that partnering together for solar-powered fertilizer production in the North African economy, while Morocco is reporting 7.1% increase in outstanding bank credits as at the end of February. And in Tunisia, where we finish off, WIFAC Bank is announcing a historic profit up 250%. That's as big as they can get for this particular commercial bank. And that's your briefing this Friday, the 14th of April. I am Boost number 5. We thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week. Please take good care. Go online, watch the show again at frontierafricareports.com. That's on our YouTube. It's free. You can subscribe. Follow us on our social media. Go also to our website, www.frontierafricareports.com, and read up all the coverage of African and Pan-African markets, investment, economy, business and markets, companies, and other news in between. Bye for now.